Hello, sultry sluts, degens and cucks, demons and angels, and everything in between. I'm your host, Dizaster, and welcome to the Degeneration Podcast, episode 44, the podcast for the degenerate generation. Here with me is my charming co-host, Mandato. Please introduce yourself.
Son. Oh wait, that's copyrighted. Hi.
God damn it. Always with the copyrighted music, always.
I mean, look, okay. I'm sorry. It's not my fault that all the good songs are copyrighted.
God.
I'm in a weird mood because I worked an 8-hour shift. Shut up.
Right. Oh, yeah, you work these days. God.
Oh, okay, sure. Fucking.
God. But anyways, so back with us today, we have my pretty good friend. We talk every now and then. He's a rapper. You guys know him. You guys should know him. Go subscribe to him.
I mean, to be fair, you talk about him kind of often,
Let's
especially
talk
when you were
every
talking
now
about
and then.
that song. Yeah.
Roar the rapper. Please introduce yourself.
Well, now, that was quite an intro you gave right there. I hadn't quite heard that before we checked this one out. Now, saying your phrase, though,
Have you never heard the 2.0 intro?
I haven't. I was just sitting there like, holy shit.
So,
what's going on there?
Oh yeah, there's a long story attached to that. But
personally,
we don't say it here.
Well, it's very,
your southern infliction. I do not like. I apologize, but I would prefer it if you were to cease.
You said, "Let's do this Texas style."
Well, frankly, I don't like it either.
Let's do this Texas style.
God.
No, I had not heard that intro before. But similar to listening to, a song by Eminem, I have to pause for a second and go, okay, I heard like 10 different things right there.
It's very fast.
I'm gonna have to listen to like 3 more times in order to really figure it out. But...
No, it's okay.
It's fast.
I memorized it, so I can.
It's fast. I
can do it
again.
Though.
Okay, do you want to?
It's not pretty inclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty inclusive. We love everyone around here, and we also hate everyone around here. Fuck you.
Hey, you know what?
That link? Yeah. Let me link him. I got you. Okay. I'll link his YouTube. But yeah, so how you doing? How you been doing?
Oh man, I mean the short answer is great.
What's the long answer?
Well, it took a while to get to great, and there was soul searching and nights of self-deprecation, finally bubbling over to the point where I reached out to people and I was like, I need to change my life, and they're like, okay, and I'm like, really, it's that simple? And then now I'm back at the great part. At the end of the month, I'm going to be moving, and starting.
Cool.
I'm going to be starting a totally different job, living in a totally different place.
Really? Like a completely different job compared to what you were doing before?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Okay, that's pretty natural. That's a good character introduction. But how about we get like something thorough? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but who are you?
No, please.
Oh yeah, wait. Well, it's been
for the people who...
It's been a bit since he's interacted with you as a person.
Yeah.
No. Right. I know who roars. I mean, like literally for the audience at home. Who are you?
Yes. I understood that. Because if your co-host has forgotten me, then I'm just gonna hop off this call right now. Like, that's just so sad.
That's so unfortunate. Okay. So nope. Hold on.
It's so sad, Dave.
Yeah, right.
Dan?
Fucking.
Dan.
I think it was. God, I know it's rapper. That's what it ends. Right? I think.
Tootsie Roll rapper.
Kanye. Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yes. You don't have all the answers though.
Fuck.
Anyway, yeah. So for introductions, I am Roar the Rapper, also known as Roar. I do mostly music reactions, particularly in the VTuber scene, but also for other independent artists like myself. I just give my in-the-moment thoughts of songs as I listen to them and kind of dissect them. And,
awesome. I'm gonna give you a song.
Okay.
Not this
You
instant.
okay. Good. You can check me out on a site called Indie Amplify. Actually, there's a place where you can request reactions from me. Anyway, I've been doing that for a little while, and as a side hobby amid that, I make my own music. Well, not make my own music. That's a gross over exaggeration. I I do original music, but I work with a lot of people to make that happen. So
Okay.
You make
then
music. You make music.
So
Don't
it's
shut
the
yourself.
difference.
You make music.
It's the difference between saying hello, I am Elton John, I make my music, and hello, I am the Beatles. We are part of we are part of it.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
No, I've you know, I write rap music like what a lot of rappers do. You know, you talk about your life, talk about that sort of stuff. I've never been
Your
a fan
experiences,
of braggadocious stuff because, I mean, I don't have money to speak of to really feel like I'm owning that.
Mhm.
And even if I did, I'd be like, okay, you know, I've heard all of it before.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's you have to be super creative with that because, like, that specific flex just doesn't mean much anymore.
It's a written
well,
song.
because a lot of people like realize it's a lot of it's fake, and
Yeah.
a lot of artists, especially signed artists, they are in more debt than they even have money.
Fuck, they're basically fucking doctors. Like most of the mid and low paying doctors will have student debt for the first 30 years of their life.
You know, that's so crazy you say that because
If not more.
I used to work in medical, and I was
Mhm.
working alongside this one nurse, and she was saying, yeah, the next 5 years are looking pretty good for me. And I was like, why is that? And she was like, at the time, she was in her late 30s, early 40s.
Oh, good. So
like,
she can
"Oh."
pay off her debt soon.
Well,
Oh,
that's what
God.
she's saying. She's like, yeah, in the next 5 years, I should have all my debt paid off.
It's really
my
good.
It's like,
God.
oh,
Actually, no, she's been managing her money
my
really well.
gosh.
Most people
Well, yeah.
wait until they're 40 to be able to pay it all off.
Yeah, that's really
Oh, you
important.
know, thinking how much, like, if you actually look at the numbers, right, and talk to the people who are in the medical field who are not the super high paying jobs, like the super crazy specialty doctors,
Oh yeah.
are not, especially first emergency care providers, shit like that, nurses, do not make enough to pay their loans. Like
Oh,
they just
God.
most of the time barely make enough to save up to eventually be able to pay off their loans. It takes so long.
It's pretty crazy.
Nurses are very underpaid.
God.
Yeah, it's absurd. While I won't disclose what city it was, we were having I didn't participate in myself because I wasn't working for the school district,
Mhm.
but there was a school district that I was in proximity to that was having a ginormous like walkout with students and teachers, and I just sat back and I was like, I was trying to think back and think, you know, what sort of council was formed to figure out, okay, which jobs are we going to, you know, pay the most? And like, like, were there two best friends who
It's the
had a
city council.
monopoly on that, and they were like, we got to make the sports guys get all the money. Ah, you dumb teachers over there. Yeah, you'll get what we can afford or whatever. I just thought that's so backwards in every conceivable way. Like, a
I don't
baseball
want to
player
spend the
does
next
not need $127 million. You do not
right.
need that much.
Okay, I mean that's absolutely true, and I don't want to spend the next 30 minutes explaining the intricacies behind why those two, like, why teachers ended up eventually
For
making
sure, and I
way
apologize
less.
that I
And
went off on that tangent.
no,
No.
not at all. I'm trying to say that I am purposefully holding back because I would also go on a tangent that's much longer.
Oh yeah.
So
we'll be here for the next 3
promise.
hours. Yeah.
no, it
Because I
only
know
take
he
30
could
minutes.
probably explain it.
I could explain it, but it would take 30 minutes. So I'm sure we don't want to waste that much time of the podcast just on a
Sure,
fucking
sure.
super
Man.
unrelated topic.
If only you
Yeah.
saw it. Last episode, I think he talked. We were
I
doing
hate
like
you.
five.
I hate you.
I'm not
leaving.
letting go of this. I'm not letting go of this. We did 5-minute segments. Oh, there you go.
Mhm.
He'll be back. Basically, we did
Yeah,
5-minute segments for
Okay.
like the topics of last podcast.
Well, Mandato,
And-
I could just go watch
There are
it
a
right
lot.
now, so you might as well just let him tell me. I'll find out either
Basically,
way.
We did 5-minute
Fine.
segments for each segment. We were doing like, okay, so here's you brought a creature or some person in mythology, and then you explain what they are in 5 minutes. Riptide brought some funny ones. I brought some creepy ones.
Well, it wasn't just.
And then
Nice.
Finley explained the origins of Greek mythology.
Okay, no, hold on,
20
hold on,
minutes.
No, hold on. Okay, first, disingenuous. It was not. It was never stated to
Then
be
he had
5-minute
s-
segments.
He came out of a fish, and then he had sex with his mom, and then they fucking asexually
and
reproduced.
It
It's like,
wasn't
what
the origin
fuck?
of Greek mythology. It was the Greek origin myth, which technically myths were fine. All I'm saying is I followed the rules.
By technicality,
Gotcha.
I mean, I guess. You're not wrong.
By technicality, I'm victorious.
God. But yeah, so anything.
No.
Yeah, point and laugh at him. Huh?
Well, no, so I apologize. I have another tab open. I have my YouTube tab open, and I just noticed a notification. I made a stupid thumbnail edit because of. So I did a reaction to Corpse's new song.
Oh yeah.
And I know my face
I haven't
just like
listened to
Oh
any
my
of his
god.
music.
Your thumbnails have been
folds
on
in on
point.
itself.
I will say.
My face folds in on itself when I get really into music. Just that's the stank face.
Mhm.
And I didn't even know I said it until someone quoted me on it in the comments. But I guess at one point I was like, okay, I got to stop. I got to stop listening to this for a second and talk about it because my face is going to turn into a raisin if I don't. Someone was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so funny!" And immediately I thought of Kiara, who always does the whole like, "I'm sheep, I'm monkey, I'm
Oh my
frog," or
God.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should try and do an edit of my face as a raisin. And I did
Oh
that.
my god, yeah, I saw it
And-
on your fucking Twitter.
And yeah, it was entirely a heat of the moment thought, and I was like, I have to do this for however it ends up.
I was like,
Normally
what
I don't
the
do such
fuck
stupid
am I
things,
looking
but-
at?
Good is it?
Let me,
It's
let me-
really good.
I'll actually send this
It's
in the
not good.
Okay, so we actually have a podcast chat for anyone who doesn't know. We have a podcast chat.
You recently got it, yeah.
Yeah. And if you go into
After
the Discord
how
and
many
go to
episodes?
Degeneration Podcast, you can actually see the things we're talking about. And
See,
like
actually, the
images
thing
and
I
links
should
and
have
stuff.
done for that
And this.
was I should have tinged it purple, because
Mhm.
it actually, if you look at without knowing that a raisin is cropped on top of it, it looks like I just
Right.
have
Oh, yeah.
really peeling skin.
I could not. I couldn't figure out what I was looking at.
I totally
think-
forgot about that because, like, I mean, like, I saw that and I thought that was your profile
God.
picture for a second because when I got sent, like, your Twitter, because I'm sorry, I'm not followed, there
That's
was, that was the picture. And I was like, oh, okay,
Like what?
sure. I guess this is, I'm confused.
When Dato asked
Yeah,
me,
no,
who are we? Who are we interviewing again? I
Me.
was like, this.
Oh yeah, like
Or-
wait.
Or right here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Let's do fun.
yeah.
God.
But yeah, so
actually,
I
in
should've done
all
the
caps, you
stank
sent
face.
roar. Actually, in all caps, you sent roar, and then
Well,
you
yeah,
sent the.
his name's
yeah.
on his name's in all caps.
I mean, I know, but
He just has a caps disposition.
Yeah,
is that your
you know, because
disposition?
it's that plays off of the onomatopoeia.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Also,
if it was
what is
lowercase,
this?
what's up?
Oh wait, go ahead.
Oh no, that's I just was gonna make a joke that if it was in lowercase, it wouldn't really
It'd be
look very commanding. Just be Sure.
No, actually, I
What
think it would be
is-
incredibly intimidating. Please don't.
What is this image you have as your Fugi image, by the way?
Oh yeah.
What is this image?
So it basically I made a song, and unfortunately I don't think the man has seen it. I got his permission to write a song comparing my mental state and how we can all go into dark places as comparative to the creatures that Trevor Henderson makes, who we all know as the maker of Siren Head.
Right.
I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I want to make a song involving your characters and stuff. Do I have your permission? And he was like, oh yeah, totally, that sounds great. And I've sent it to him a couple times and he hasn't responded, so I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to kind of leave it there. But
He'll see when he
You don't want
sees
to
it.
release it without, yeah.
well, I did release it because he
Oh, okay.
like given permission for it and everything, but it
Mhm.
just it's weird that he hasn't seen it or commented on it. But the point being is that was the art that I intended on having for the single. But
Okay.
what I didn't figure out in time, especially because I just really wanted to drop the song and I was kind of rushing and like looking for any producer who could work that day. I was like, I need to have this mix now.
You wanted it same day. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
well,
Delivery.
I have had that where I'm like, okay, I've got the song,
Mhm.
just throw it, just release it. I've
yeah,
done that
it needs to be
before.
out. Well, and the thing though was the artist who's fantastic, by the way. He's done just incredible art and everything. He just had a lot of stuff come up over and over and over in his life, and like other projects he was working on and all this other stuff, which I totally get that. But I was just sitting back like, oh no, it's not going to be done in time. I can't wait. And then I just dropped it and I was like, well, this art's really cool, so I'm gonna stick with it.
Oh my
And
god, I had the same thing with my with my album that I'm releasing. I was stressing about it so much because it was supposed to release back in
oh yeah.
February. I was stressing about it so much, and then I had realized that I didn't get any recording done. So I was just like, you know what? I just need to relax, just let it happen when it happens. I have the first song recorded, so
Oh, that's
I
good.
just need to stop stressing out about it because I will want
Yeah.
to release it as soon as it comes out.
It's
It'll
so
be the
funny
same thing.
because I've released a good chunk of music at this point. And I remember I remember it. I have no qualms with the artist that was featured on it because it was the first time I actually got like a somewhat established underground artist as a feature.
Oh
But
yeah.
I was so obsessed with finishing that one song because that was the last song. I think it was on, God, what was it? I think it was on Duet Like No Other, one of the albums I put out. And it was to a beat that I had that was way too experimental for me to do by
What
a
was
really
it?
good
I
artist.
can't find the song.
I'm trying to remember what the song was,
Like
but
time signature, key signature.
No, the name.
Oh, I was talking about the beat.
Oh, okay.
well,
You
the
were
beat
asking
was
what the
like
beat was.
basically like a drum and bass beat, but the bass and the snare was on the 1 and the 3. So it kind of had
Okay.
an off kilter beat to it.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah, that is a little weird, but it's
but at the
fine.
time, I just thought, oh, I can rap over anything. I just want to be like Andrew Wong, who can just
Oh,
flow over
right.
whatever.
Now I
Um,
understand. Yeah.
But the I'm trying to think of what it was called. God dang it, it's not on there. It's on another project. Shoot, I can't.
Look over it.
Oh.
Maybe it's a
Goddamn.
girl with no name. Song list. Shoot, I'm so unprofessional.
Me.
Honestly, why are you
God.
even here? You're so
I don't
unprofessional.
know.
God
This is why I
damn.
hate myself.
God.
No, actually, it wasn't on that one. God dang it! I can't remember where it's from. I don't even
That's
remember what
fine.
it was called.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the point was the I had all the other songs mixed by an actual producer, um, I think I was still recording with my iPhone, so there was only so much the guy could do to actually make it sound good. But it sounded better than what I could do myself. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll just this is
The
beautiful.
magic, the absolute
Um,
magic.
And he didn't do anything to it, right? I
well,
think.
that
Like
for
afterwards?
no, because I didn't know if it needed anything else. I just told the guy, here's the songs I want mixed, and that's it.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But so it had a featured artist who we didn't have the best of communication about what I asked for, and
Sure.
he mixed himself on the beat, and he came half a beat, or God, what
Oh
was it called?
no.
Yeah, he came half a beat later than I expected. So then
Okay,
I was kind of
so
sitting there like,
was it in 4 time? So like
you know, I'm gonna
quarter
fucking
note to
find this
beat.
thing because it's pissing me
Was he
off.
was he
Do
just
you mean
like?
like an eighth note off?
I mean, did he just come in late?
He came in late and he
Ah,
mixed it himself. And
Oh
then
shit, that is a problem because like if he just came in late but he sent you the solo track, then you could just
well,
put him behind one.
that's another thing is
Right.
that if you come in late, you end early, so you can't just shift it
Right.
over.
Well, and
'Cause
here's the
it'll
thing
sound-
about
you
it
can just you can just ask for like the end.
It just,
the guy who did the beat too. If you hear the actual beat, it's he has a very unique style. The guy's name is Offspring Mysterious. He
Oh my god,
does
doxing him? Okay.
he does generally the same type of beat, like it's kind of this drum and bass type stuff, but it's really unique. Like I've never heard anything like that before. But there so the guy ended early, and then only like half a beat later there was a huge key change, and then I was just sitting there just like, oh my god, this is the last thing, this is the last song that I need on this album, and this one song is absolute trash.
Oh
Because I
god.
hadn't even finished writing my part, and
Okay.
what
Oh, writing.
so
Oh shit.
you're like, how do
Yeah.
I salvage this?
I thought you meant
Oh,
recording,
no.
not writing. Oh god.
Oh,
well,
that
then I
is
recorded my
difficult.
part, which
Yeah.
sounded way different than his, and then I mixed it all myself because
Okay.
I was like, I don't care, I don't have time, I want this out now. And it was so bad. It was the worst, and of no disrespect to anyone else in this equation. Sibby, who is the guy who did the feature, he was great. He actually flowed over the beat just fine. It's just the timing was just a little bit off, and then the beat was fine. It's just I had no business trying to rap over that, and it was just like, oh my god.
I mean, yeah, okay. I think that in that situation, like if you're actually gonna release something that you really, really don't even like, I think it is even like I think it's even more professional to just contact the people who were involved and say, yo, can we either redo this or just not release this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like if
Well,
you're
here's the
that
thing.
unhappy with the product, then it might actually be worth it to like just not release it.
well, I think there is something to be learned about like releasing bad music, like Dizaflow,
Yes.
Dizaflow, which we don't talk about. I released it, and then I was like, no, this is horrible. Everything's
You-
wrong.
You know, the funny thing about that is, there's a guy in my Discord who, for my birthday, he basically bought all the music that I had available on Bandcamp. Now that sounds,
What?
you know, like that's a lot of money, but it's not. It altogether it was 2 albums, which
That'd be about like $20-$30.
well, that's the thing. I didn't price it like an iTunes thing. I went as low on the price as I could. I don't know why I did that.
Was it like
but then-
$2?
Well, the 2 albums and then a handful of singles and a couple EPs that I made all came out to $30, minus
Right.
the tax that Bandcamp takes, as well as God, what was it called? PayPal. So, but the funny thing is this guy contacted me later, and he was, you know, just wanting to double check some of the music that I put out, because I would say, oh, it was featuring a particular artist, but then it was just me on the track. Well, I was so new to knowing how to even give artists credit and stuff Either some of
course.
those artists didn't want credit, or they were like, "Hey, this beat's yours, it's fine." But those were the producers. So
Okay.
I is like the producers of the
Oh.
beats and stuff.
Right.
So he was specifically asking about this one song, and as soon as he mentioned the name, I was like, "Oh God, why did that thing ever exist?" But but I know when I made it, I was just so up over the moon about being able to make music. I didn't care. Like whatever beat I could find, I was like, I'm gonna write something to this. It's gonna be so good. It's just gonna be awesome, and I'm so happy with it. And I'm mixing it myself, and it sounds like crap. And it
Me.
and it took till now to be like, oh yeah, none of this was good. But
Yeah,
funnily enough,
that's
this guy was so sweet in saying, it's actually cool to see some of the stylistic choices that you still use now, even though your production and your
that's dramatically
ability
improved.
has improved. I
Yeah.
was like, that's really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the rest of that is just like, oh God, kill this with fire. But
Well
it's
done.
such a relic for like how happy I was to just, yeah, I'm just gonna make stuff and it's all gonna sound so great and it's so fun. And
When you were happy.
yeah.
I mean, at
And then I
least you
listen
were
to it now
happy
and I'm like,
making it. That
Yeah.
was the thing.
I shouldn't have been. This is
Oh my God. Okay.
this is when
Oh my
parents tell their
God.
kids, okay, son, it's just not worth it. You'll understand when you get older.
Oh my God.
No, it's
Pain.
horrible. I don't wish that mindset on anyone. I think it definitely was cool to experiment with that, and it's cool to look back and see like, how I've improved and stuff.
Right.
Um, it's just me getting harder on myself. I'll say that
Mhm.
if I could segue to uh, being hard on yourself with music, because this was a fun little revelation I had.
Yeah, go
Uh,
ahead.
so so I reached out to a bunch of people when I first started because I don't have anyone in my circle who raps. So I didn't
Mhm.
know if I was any good at all. I was like, I think this is good. I like it, but I don't know if it's actually good. And there was this one guy who was, he was establishing himself pretty well on YouTube, and he was doing like cameos and stuff like that where you could, he would listen to your song and then give you quick feedback on it.
Oh
So I
yeah.
was like, sweet, I'll do that. And
Oh wait.
yeah,
I think
you know who I'm talking about,
yeah.
Crypt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so the funny thing is, a few years later, I reached out to him again, and he had a much more professional way of going about, reacting to stuff and giving feedback. And I misheard what he'd said. So the thing of it was at the very beginning of the song. Um, I guess some of the mixing didn't sound as good as it could have been, and he commented on it. And then something else happened, and he kind of commented on that a little bit. When I first heard the reaction, I stopped within the first 15 seconds, and then I jumped to the end because I assumed that he didn't like the track. I was like, if this is how you're
Okay.
starting,
Really?
then none of this is going to be good.
You
And I got
skipped
to the
it?
end, and he told me, he said, like, oh, here's some things to work on. Here's some things I kind of liked. And for a whole freaking year, probably even 2 years, I let that sit in my stomach. And I was
Okay.
just sitting there like, I'm nothing. I haven't improved in 3 years.
Oh yeah, because we
What
talked
the
about
hell?
that. We
Yeah.
talked
And
about that when we were VCing, yeah.
so at one point, I actually sat down. I couldn't take it anymore because I was like, I haven't actually watched it. I need to watch this. And I sat down and watched
As
it,
it
and
is, yeah.
he had so many good things to say. He had like those were just initial little mixing things that he was talking about, but he was like, "This was really good. This was really cool. I liked this and da da da." And the singing was da 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 da. And I was like, "Oh God!" Like it didn't
I
even feel good.
I thought you
It
watched
feels
the
like when
whole
you.
thing.
No, I didn't. I thought I basically saw everything I needed to know, and I just assumed, and I was like, "Oh God." It's
Oh
like,
my
why
God.
did I do this to myself? I made it so like I was in shambles for the longest time, and it would come in waves. Like maybe for 4 to 6 months, I would be like, okay, I'm still gonna make music. And then I would think about the reaction and be like, no, but I suck. I can't do this. And it was all for nothing. And I was just sitting there like, it's like when you finally pee after like 2 days. It's like it
That is
hurts so bad.
quite interesting
You're like,
way to say
there
that.
is relief here,
I
but
know what you're
it's
talking
just
about.
so painful. And it was the same thing actually. Some of the biggest artists that I've reacted to on my channel have been Maury Calliope, Demon Dice, a lot of the VTubers, people like that. The thing that blew me up was reacting to Addict from the Has Been Hotel universe.
Yeah.
Where I just cried my eyes out because I didn't expect the song to be so sentimental and really talk about the issues of drug and alcohol addiction. I was like, geez.
I mean, yeah,
Such a
it's
beautiful
a
song.
fucking cartoon animated show where they say fuck, and it's in hell.
And the thing of it was, up to that point, they never had any second thoughts, and I thought that was what black comedy was for. So then when they finally sat down and they're like, I hate how I'm addicted to these things that I know are hurting me, and it's really sad, but then in the next breath, I'll be like, but I don't want to give it up. And I was just sitting there like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that was the thing that blew me up.
Genuinely, yeah.
Between some of the other artists that I had reacted to, I also had a contention, an idea about the stylistic choices of one such artist. When I talked about, okay, from my understanding, with what I think I know about what makes rap music, I think this is how you typically... You probably do. I'm sure you do.
Do I know which song this is?
Yeah, probably.
I know what song? Oh, it's coming.
But so
we talked about it.
I
think we talked about it last time. I just
the
love
funny
talking
thing
about
was,
this.
It's just so funny because I like literally, and this is so for any of you who don't listen to any of my original music, most of what I do is talk about in a very Kid Cudi fashion, talk about my internal struggles, because my life has been great on the outside. Everything is going really well, and I'm accomplishing a lot of things, and I have many, many great, awesome people in my camp, my friends, my family, who have helped me succeed in an incredible amount of ways. In my head, though, I make it hell for myself, like day after day after day. And it's stupid because there's no reason for it, but I just do that. So I usually write about the ups and downs of like, okay, now I'm feeling really good. Nope, now I suck, and everything I do is meaningless. And I've even written how, by comparison, whenever I have those thoughts, I'm like, when was the last time I ate? Oh yeah, it's been over 8 hours. That's why I'm feeling this way. I'm gonna go eat some food.
Probably important.
Exactly. So just in that regard of like blowing things out of proportion and getting, all anxious and whatever. So I thought, okay, this particular artist, I like their style, but they kind of don't really rap as cleanly as I would. I would do things a little bit different, which is still true. I now am of the mindset that, okay, they can do whatever they want. I just don't, I'm not crazy about every little part of their style, but I genuinely like them as an artist. There was an artist, a different YouTuber who does reactions as well, and he started reacting to this artist as well. And I was just sitting there like,
this isn't what I was thinking at first, but now I know what you're about to say. I did actually see this video. I think if this is what you're talking about, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was very intrigued because this other reactor is very knowledgeable about how you're, sort of what the rules of rap are and all that other stuff. And I thought, is he going to really rip this person apart, or is he going to see like, okay, this is the style this person's going for. I'm going to really see it through and like figure out what they're about. And his response was the latter. He was very confused by what VTubing was and all the lore and all that other stuff. And I tried helping as much as I could. I was typing in the comments like, hey, this might help you understand some things. And he was like, okay, thanks. But he didn't have anything negative to say about her style. And I had to sit back and think, well, I think my interpretation of what quote unquote makes good rap or whatever is different than what I thought, or it's the general consensus is different than what I thought it would be. So I kind of had to sit back and think like, oh my gosh, and it's because I didn't actually take time to really learn. I just heard one or two things and was like, oh, I think I know. And then, you realize, oh, wait, okay, I am.
It's an art style. It's not just,
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, like
Must
in the same way
expand.
that like most people like see one of Picasso's paintings and be like, yeah, okay, I get the gist.
Right.
Like yeah, it's incredibly difficult to just know, so you have to learn.
Right. And then even
Mhm.
then, like once I had those mindsets, I was like, okay, I really want to open my mind and like really figure out like, uh, how far can we really push this? Like where can we blur the lines with, how we approach different genres and stuff. And it is super confusing because I think there are a lot of people that really they tend to take their tastes and turn that into principles. So they'll say this isn't real music or this isn't how this
Oh
works.
God.
But when you really look at it, it's like, no, you actually just don't like this style and you're complaining
Yeah,
that that is indicative of whatever. So
yeah,
I really had to swim through the Fantanos and the Sean C's and all the people who are very, very like gung ho about what they think equates to, good, whatever. And then really just kind of take a breath and go, oh, okay, yeah, it's all kind of, it's all, you can kind of just do whatever. Now
come together.
I'm very meticulous and very methodical, so I'm not going to change my style anytime soon. I like having a very, uh, you know, uh, I guess you could say middle of the road approach. I don't rap really fast. I don't slur what I'm saying too much to the point that it's clear that I'm just going for a vibe instead of intelligible lyrics. Not that I have a problem with either. I think they both have their place. It's just I know if I dip my toe into one or the other, I can really get pigeonholed.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm trying to keep in the middle, pretty much,
Right.
and just
Okay.
actually say something. Say something meaningful, whether it's my life or I make a metaphor about something. I want that to be portrayed to the audience. And I was able to actually sit there and go, okay, this is where I'm planting my flag, and that's okay. Like I don't have to, you know, do what all these other people are doing or what everyone else is saying. So
Yeah.
that's been a long time
Okay.
coming, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
um, but it's just another example of how I've been progressing over the last, what has it been? At least a year, 2 years
Um.
since we've last talked, I think.
Oh, I mean,
I'm
since we
trying
last
to.
talked, are you talking about Mandato? Because the last time you were on the podcast was around this time last year, actually. But
Oh, last year. Gotcha, gotcha.
yeah.
See, that's another thing. My concept of time is way off. Like I'll think
Oh yeah.
something happened weeks ago when it was a matter of days.
Time is absolutely soup. But since we
It's
last
like
talked,
that.
it's been like a few months, maybe 2 months,
Oh
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Because we talked a little while ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was meaning more in the podcast, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that Calvin and Hobbes strip when Calvin was looking at he's just thinking to himself. He's in the middle of class and he goes, "I wonder how long it's been since I looked at the clock." And he covers his eyes. He's like, "It's probably been an hour. No, 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 no. Maybe just half an hour to be safe. I'll check." And he looks at the clock and he goes, 20 seconds? He's just hanging his head on the desk. He's like, I'm going to have a really bad day.
I
Yeah.
felt that. Time is soup, as V would say.
Okay.
But yeah,
Weird.
it is very nice to hear that you're doing a lot better. Seeing as the last time I think we had like a very in-depth talk outside of like
hmm
VCs and stuff was
hmm
I think you messaging me about quitting rapping. And that
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, wait a second, hold up. Hold up.
Well, here's the
What?
thing, right?
Start at the
Is
beginning.
yeah, well, so I just like so because I already struggle with stuff like ADHD, right? Some of my
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
earliest memories was realizing, oh, I perceived something in my head a certain way, but reality is showing me something different. Like when you're a kid, you
Mhm.
think, oh, the worm on the street is going to taste like a gummy worm. Yay. And then you're just so shocked that reality is not like that.
Reality is
Um,
often disappointing.
so in that
One of my
same
earliest
vein,
memories is sitting still in a chair for 5 minutes to see how long it was.
see how long 5 minutes was?
Yeah,
Like to
Just trying
just
to
feel the
understand
presence of
time.
time.
yeah, to understand time.
Do you know who Crony is, sir?
No, I mean
Okay.
yes, but not very well.
Disaster,
He
you need
doesn't.
to
He doesn't
point
watch
him in
Crony,
that
but
direction.
I've sent him multiple clips saying, "This is you. You are Crony."
No, it's his wife, dude. He wants to spend time with time and get a feel for
Wants to
that's
spend
who he
time
needs to.
with time.
I
Crony
just
is your new waifu.
exactly,
Crony is
exactly.
I do not understand, but
You're
okay.
both extremely narcissistic and self-centered.
Well,
Got
so
him.
this character is her character
God,
is
no.
time. Her character is time itself.
Oh,
So I
weird.
just thought it was funny that you're like, oh, I wanted to sit there and just be in the presence of time, and I'm like, oh yeah, you should get a body pillow for her. Then you can
Wait,
be in the
doesn't she have
presence
a
of
body
her wherever
pillow
you
out right
go.
now?
Yes, she does.
Damn. Damn, that's
Okay.
crazy. I wasn't gonna buy it because damn shipping.
Because you're not into that at all.
Well, I am. I have multiple body pillars, but just getting stuff from Hololive is crazy. Have you ever gotten merch from Hololive?
I haven't, because usually whenever I want to, I'm like, I can't really justify the shipping.
Yeah, the
It's always
shipping
like
is
the
like
shipping is
$35.
yeah.
But that's not the
No,
only
I
thing.
did that with
It also
I did.
it also
What's
takes
up?
about half a year to ship.
Really?
Yeah. When I got the Gura merch for her birthday,
Mm-hmm.
it was her
She
birthday
was celebrating her next birthday.
yeah, her birthday was right in the middle of her contract season, right?
Uh-huh.
By the
Right.
time I got the merch, we were celebrating her 1 year anniversary.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And I just ordered Unalive on vinyl.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
oh, nice.
it's shipping September.
Ugh.
It's not
Ugh.
scheduled to get here until August. Like, Jesus Christ.
That's horrible.
Yeah, so that's mostly why I'm a little hesitant on Hololive stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Speaking of, if anyone has a Yormori vinyl that they'd like to sell to me for $200, I'd be willing.
Cool. I do.
God damn it.
Their merch looks incredible, though. I'm just gonna say, like, even down to the hats and like the little shirts they had with the sort of soft pastel colors. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I will wear these in public, completely unashamed.
I'm about to say, I do have the Gura shirt from her birthday
Nice.
merch. It's very well made. I'm not sponsored or anything, obviously, but they're very well made.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool, because it'd be so easy to just be like, oh, I'm gonna, yeah.
Oh, let's put an idol on a shirt. Bam, we'll buy it.
Yeah.
People will buy it.
Cotton. It will shrink.
It will shrink if it
That's
even
just- that's just a tag.
looks at
Okay.
a fucking washer or dryer. It will shrink immediately.
It's gonna.
I didn't know they put that on tags. It will shrink 100% of the time. Oh, got it.
100%
Okay.
of the time, guaranteed. It's
Well,
gonna
that's
happen.
basically
For
what
your money
100% cotton means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever it
that's
says
true.
100% cotton, it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be small.
100% shrink. Okay.
Exactly, 100% shrink.
Speaking of, I got the black shirt from the Shut Up Get Happy album.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I saw that. Didn't you post it on Twitter?
Yeah, I did. And
yeah, okay, I saw it.
It's quickly become one of my favorite shirts.
Nice.
I
think the last merch I got was from an old design from Try Hard Ninja.
Really?
And I still have it. and it's still one of the most comfy shirts I've ever worn.
Yeah. Damn, I haven't heard that name in a while.
He's still
Mandato.
doing his thing.
I bet.
He got big for a lot of Minecraft songs that he wrote, and like Five Nights at Freddy's stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Five Nights
I think
at Freddy's
Undertale
stuff.
too, but it was the Minecraft stuff that he really blew up for, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's
Then,
great. I'll tell you that much, right? You get guys like, Try Hard Ninja and DA Games and Dan Bull and people like that.
oh,
yeah.
Dan Bull.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the greatest in the UK scene.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, I think
slow
so.
down.
No, I was immediately reminded of Dave from the UK scene, who I like a lot. But anyway, I really, God, what is the term? I looked at how well produced their stuff was, right? And was like, oh man, these guys spare no expense. Every time they drop a track, it's this huge thing. It usually has this big music video attached and all this other stuff.
Oh god,
and
you know how expensive that shit is?
Exactly. Well, and of course, it's not like I was there to see them, get bigger and bigger and bigger and see how they, maybe, cut corners here, or they, they shelled out money over here, but then didn't have money for this other thing, and da 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 da. Like, geez, I just handed over, like, when I filed my taxes, I got a W-9 thing from YouTube, and I had half a mind to not even send it, because I was like, over the course of 5 years, I made $1,000. Like, is that really anything to, sneeze about? But it absolutely was. Yeah. And because it was tax-free money, which I didn't even know was a thing, thanks YouTube, I didn't know I'm a small business owner. They took that out of my return, and I didn't know that, so I didn't know any of that at all. There's actually a really funny story to that as well, because when they said, "This is what we're taking out," I thought they were saying, "This is what you owe." So I started sweating.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely a person where if I'm surrounded by people who are struggling, I somehow think that I'm struggling too. There was a dude next to me that I think had already gone into debt trying to form a business.
What?
And the person reviewing his taxes said so many things that made me sweat for him.
Oh my god.
He was saying stuff like, I've been doing taxes for a long time and I have never seen this before. I was just like, he's like, I actually can't. He said, this is really serious, okay? And I don't even know exactly what he was talking about, but this guy was clearly over his head. And I just remember him saying like, well, I can't fully give you an answer on what we can do from here out. Oh, it is gonna, it is serious. I'm gonna have to talk to a couple people I know who are more specifically qualified to handle some of the. I'm like, wait, you guys
sucks.
You guys are supposed to be the experts. Who do you call?
I'm not.
Wait, who do you call?
No. Okay. At that point, it's literally just like, okay. This shit has hit the fan so fucking bad that I don't know what to do.
We're
so I'm gonna go
the
call
Treasury.
No.
If I were him,
the people,
Treasury.
The people that they're most likely to actually call are probably going to be like people who are more experienced than them, and also lawyers, so they can genuinely like go over fucking every single corner of the shit and try to, dig him out of his hole.
Also, thank you, Little Pet Frog, for the raid.
So I was so like, the person who was working on my taxes, she got up to like, print out some stuff, and she comes back, and I think I was just staring. And she comes up to me and she goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, yeah, I think I'm okay. And then she just she took my word for it, and she was like, "Okay, so this is your amount that you get back. It's not very much because we did have to take this out for this other thing." But all I was looking at was that other amount, and I said, "Well, okay, so when do I need to send that big amount?" And she goes, "I'm sorry." I said, and I kid you not, I was like, the big one. When do I need to give more? Because I was just in my head, I was just like, oh my God, how could this have happened?
You like
Like,
lived
is YouTube
vicariously through
screwing
this
me
other
over? Like,
guy.
what oh yeah.
God.
And she was just like, no, sweetie, that's not. She put her hand on my hand. She was like, no, sweetie, that's not what we're talking about. I was like, so I was so relieved at that point. I went out to get my wallet from my car because I usually leave it in the car because I don't need like. I mean, I
You
thought
don't need
they were
money.
well, because I thought they were gonna pull their fee from the return.
Mhm.
So I didn't think I even
Yeah,
needed
no.
to scan a card or anything.
Not at all.
But I was so relieved. I literally walked probably like I want to say, well, like a good distance, maybe even, a sixth of a mile to my car because I parked like there was a lot of traffic in the parking lot. So
Yeah.
I parked where I could. I walked all the way to my car and I unlocked it, got in the car, ate a snack, got out of the car, locked my door, and walked all the way back without my wallet. Because I was just on cloud 9 of like, oh yes.
You had just saw the face of death, and you
Yes.
walked back to your car.
Well, no, okay.
just
You saw the face of
completely,
death,
like-
and then you realized that oh, it's upside down.
It's like-
Good job.
it's like,
That's a
oh,
tarot
right.
joke. That's a tarot joke.
In the back of my head, I planned on walking out into traffic with this man, arm in arm. We were just like, you know what? There's nothing more we can do.
You basically knew this guy at this point. Like,
Yeah,
you were his business partner at this point. Like, you were nose deep in his shit.
Well, from what I could tell, I think I think he like tried networking with people who just did him dirty
Oh, damn.
and just
Oh, okay. So
like,
he
put him
trusted people
over
he
with,
shouldn't
like-
have. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
exactly. And
Especially
I
making
think
a
they
business. Sheesh.
Yeah, you're right. Well, and it's so funny, right? Because now, in light of that, I keep getting these stupid ads on YouTube that's like, starting a business is easier than you might think. I'm like, frick
Oh,
you!
my God.
You don't know!
You don't know what I've been through.
I mean,
Hell.
YouTube gurus literally don't. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Uh,
you got to get some serious flow with your channel before that starts working in your favor. Which is why I'm so glad that I actually have, a career. Like, I couldn't imagine leaving all of that and being like, you know what? I'm just gonna do YouTube until it works. It's like,
Oh
yeah,
my
then how
God,
am I
yeah.
gonna eat and do anything until that point? Like, how? Either
Yeah,
those guys are
the-
talking about
You ever get the sugar sandwich? Huh? You ever make a sugar
Exactly.
sandwich?
yeah, I think Kendrick talked about that. Syrup sandwiches
Serve sandwiches.
in a
And-
Be Humble.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah. Syrup
he's a-
sandwiches
I-
and ramen. Dry ramen.
crime allowances.
Yeah.
You're thinking ramen and OJ from Jordan Lucas.
No, I'm talking about IRL.
Oh well, yeah, totally, yeah, that too.
God.
Anyway, though, that was a bit of a tangent. Taxes, guys.
I
It's
actually
even worse when you try to do it yourself.
recently did my taxes for the first time. Like on my
Oh.
own, one-on-one with an accountant. And
Mhm.
I had the same thing where it was just like, okay, so 1,500, or they said something something like 1,500. I was like, what the fuck? I'm gonna have to pay 1,500? Excuse me?
Mhm.
Right back.
Right.
She's like, no, we just started. I'm like, oh, thank fucking God.
Right.
They're like,
It's like just come back to me with a number, and then like we'll shake hands and swipe a card, and that's it. Like, don't give me this rundown.
I'm glad they gave me the rundown so I could actually understand like how much shit goes into this. I just before this it was all just like that pixie dust. They just like splashed some pixie dust in your bank account and it like randomly rolled a number.
You D&D it.
Yeah.
D&D with the IRS.
D&D the IRS.
Roll to see if I'm broke.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Constitution check. Am I mentally sound after this? After getting this information?
Absolutely not.
Ooh, that's a low 2.
Oh, that's a That's a 2, yeah. That is a nat 2. Sheesh.
Speaking of which, side note, do you guys ever play or watch rather Table Flip from Game Grumps?
Table flip? No, I have not. What is this?
It's a
Table
show
flip?
they came out with a while ago, which basically was them playing tabletop games. Um,
Oh.
but they would film it like live, and I think it was one of the first groups to really do that. Like I know
Oh
tabletop stuff's
wait,
been
I've
around
seen
for a while,
clips
but
from this.
yeah.
Oh, this is
Well, they took a lot.
hilarious.
Yeah, they took a lot of it down because there was some confusion about one of the members that they did table flip with.
Oh, what?
He got hung out to dry on the internet for stuff that he didn't do, and
What?
because of the backlash, Game Grumps was like, okay, we're not associating with you. We're deleting this content that you're in that pertains to us.
Oh,
But I
damn.
found some of it recently because I still remember some of those episodes fondly, like because they were so funny. Um, I actually from some of those games I play those games with my friends and family now. Like
Really?
I've looked at it and been like, oh, this would be a really fun game to play. It's super easy and like all that stuff. But yeah, I just
Yeah.
wondered if you guys had seen those guys or not.
I've seen
They're pretty fun.
clips. Generally,
Mhm.
generally when we play tabletop games, we all want to kill each other. So
Oh
when
yeah,
we play
yeah.
like really fucking intense games for some reason, like if you ever heard of Cosmic Encounters,
I think I have heard of that. I haven't played it though.
these games last like 3 or 4 hours, and they're just like
Ooh.
chock full of like betrayal and like.
All right, I'm back with my tiramisu.
Oh, I didn't even know
When
you were
did you
gone.
leave?
Yeah, when did you leave?
Like 30 minutes ago.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I was talking about how he brought up table flip, but from Game Grumps, and then I started talking about when we play tabletop games, there's always really fucking intense games for no reason, like Cosmic Encounters.
Cosmic Encounters is crazy.
Cosmic Encounters is a fucking trip.
It's literally it's fight to the death. Like,
It is a death pit of 8 people.
it's like Monopoly, but if you could attack other players,
It's like Monopoly, but with
fucking
politics.
ruthless. Literally.
Mm.
It's only
That sounds
only
crazy.
the most cutthroat and ruthless will survive.
For real.
Did you ever play because the only thing I played by comparison that was ever really that cutthroat, unless you're one of those people that makes Monopoly a hell of a
Warzone.
game.
Uh-huh.
No.
Settlers of Catan. Have you guys ever
Oh,
played that?
Settlers of Catan. I've only played it once.
Well, so
For
some of my friends and I have had some very, very, you talk about betrayal. Some of these guys were so good at knowing how to work other people and like
Oh,
really
yeah.
genuinely be like, hey, could I have this resource? Okay, that would help. Okay, now I'm going to do this. And then they would flip it all on everyone and be like, okay, now I own this and this and this and this and this, and you all lose.
Right, but
So-
those are the kinds of people that play card games, which is why they won.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, so it's to the point where their betrayal runs so deep that even if we reference resources, like even if we're just talking, like if I see a sheep somewhere and I take a picture of a sheep and I'm like, hey, look, a sheep. They're like, hey, I'll trade you that for 2 wood. Then that immediately takes us back to the Catan rules of like resource management and all the
guys-
pain we went through.
You
And
guys
I was just
playing
like,
Settlers
no!
of Catan IRL.
Well,
Exactly.
you see, you fool. I am already
Oh,
10
cool.
steps ahead.
Hey, I'll trade you some diamond plates for that pencil you got. Just bringing up the Minecraft rules.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, bitch. You have any salt? I need salt for witchery.
Shut
I'll
the
trade
fuck
you
up,
5 sheep.
I need my fucking Moissanite. The fuck up.
You'll get your goddamn Moissanite when you finish the project.
Actually, it's already done.
No, it's not.
It is. It's in your
It's
backyard.
turned off.
You're turned off.
God, that sounds like when you like
Oh?
to open the door or the fridge or something, and maybe you're younger and your parent, like as soon as you open the door, they're like, close the door, and you're like, I was just about to leave. And they're
Literally.
like, well, you're standing here and it's cold, and you're like, what the
my god.
Yes, it was done. Well, not when I wanted you to have it done, so it's not done.
Not
God,
It's the same thing, except like, no, it's not the same thing because it's built, but it doesn't work.
Oh man,
Yeah.
me and Finley's arguments about this like subway station we were building. I was like,
oh yeah.
but it's slow. And he's like, no, it looks cool. I'm like, no. And we were just arguing about it.
Okay, well, okay.
Form over
So
function.
my argument, right, was that a subway station in a world where we have waystones that are easily accessible to anyone by just using a level, or
Waystones
fucking
teleport people
teleporters,
to-
or teleporters, right? Waystones being effectively like fast travel stations,
Yeah.
and also teleporters that you can link to a location and then just have a permanent gate to.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need transportation? Physical transportation. It's because it's cool.
Well, yeah.
It has to be cool, right?
Well,
Therefore,
then put it over ground.
No. Hold on. Therefore,
You're not seeing anything.
Therefore, you should have a 3D railway system, like a spirit train,
Okay.
which is what I did.
Yeah, turn you into.
Is it underground?
But it's underground.
Why is it underground? Can you really see it?
Put it over ground.
You can see it.
If it's not gonna be instant, put it over ground.
It's about as fast as like a speed 3 person walking or a speed 1 person running.
It's like the same speed
So
as a
it's
minecart.
pretty.
It's
it's about the
basically a
same speed as a
minecart.
minecart.
Mm-hmm.
It's effectively literally a 3D minecart.
Okay.
I do not see the problem here.
Why?
I'm kind of failing to understand it as well. I don't know.
Because right, there are no tracks.
Speaking of
And it
tracks,
will-
we should probably get back on track.
Fight me. You're mad.
So
Oh
roar.
my god, you're mad.
So,
Stay mad,
I
will
did have
you?
a few things, but I will bring this up
Yes.
first because so
Okay.
I didn't see your video reacting to young Shinigami boy. What'd you think of the April Fool's joke?
Well, here's the thing.
So I thought it was fucking
Since
hilarious.
Since I knew that it was supposed to be ridiculous, and since they completely hammed it up with the most exaggerated way to say anything, it made it hilarious, right? Similarly, because people immediately were ready to call me heretic for reacting to that when they're like,
They're calling
"What,
you a
didn't like-"
heretic? What?
Well, because okay,
Well,
so
not a heretic, a hypocrite, right?
or hypocrite. That's
okay.
what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Hypocrite. Yeah. Well, because so there's another artist who did a really like off the wall, hey, I'm just gonna rap about whatever just for the heck of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that song in the heels of some very introspective, very deep, very well cut rap music.
Gang
And
kawaii.
no inflection was changed at all
Gang
for this
kawaii.
ridiculous track. And I was just sitting there like, what the heck is this? Like, I can't even get into it because you sound exactly the same as you do in every other track. You're not making it clear, besides your lyrical content, that, hey, this is a joke. But for someone like for young boy Shinigami, oh my gosh, I lost it. It was so funny. Like, even down to all the ad libs, you know, like Stuck at the Drive-Thru from Weird Al, if you heard that song.
Oh my god,
It's
yeah.
hilarious because it takes so long and he focuses on every little point. So every little thing that they said was hysterical because they also had these really aggressive ad libs in the background.
Oh yeah.
Like they say, oh, this teenage kid was behind the counter and he was probably a fan of mine, so I lowered my shades and I glared at him, and I was just like, that's actually brilliant.
I think
'Cause, like,
I think my favorite bar was like, I don't know what she said, but she said straight thumb tech. like that, and I was like, "Oh no, I made that bar." And I was like, "Oh no."
Oh, straight like a thumbtack.
No, like a straight thumbtack. I don't know what that was supposed to rhyme with, but just that
Oh, I gotcha.
specific string of words. I was like, "No, I've said that bar. No, I sound like that.
I'll tell you that.
I'm
Well,
the
It's
dude,
very
cringe."
sad. It's very sad, Noel, when you
God.
finally realize that you're the cringe.
I'm the cringe.
dude, Noel, dude,
You are.
dude, listen. 6ix9ine just put out another song, and for the upteen millionth time, I had to hear him say, "Make him do the Millie Rock." He says that in every song. I actually had to check because I couldn't understand what he said at first.
Mhm. Yeah, check
But
lyrics.
I swear, in like 4 or 5 other songs, he said, "Check it out, the chicken spot." I don't know what chicken spot is, but that's apparently something. Maybe it's an analogy of left him with like chicken pox or something because we shot him so many times. He says the same stuff over and over and over, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is so boring.
Please stop talking.
There's no iteration at all, not even in the instrumentation. It's like, what?
Do you wanna
So-
hear heresy?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, please.
Good bitch.
I do actually listen to what's it called? Billy? His song,
Mhm.
Billy. Quite
Well, it's
often.
not to say.
But I was like, why do I like this? This is trash, but I like it. And I was like, And so it actually comes down like to the energy. I kind of just rocked with that energy.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Well-
wait a second. Kinda,
Well, and also
kinda
notice
hit-
you're just talking about
it
one
was
song.
like, it's so shit.
Well, in the same way, I mean, I listen to Timmy Turner from Designer over and over. He literally
God.
repeats everything over and over and over the whole time, but it's just one song. If you have one song in there that's like, it's just kind of a, ruckusy song that's like
It's
whatever.
there.
Now, if you
Makes
listen
me
to
wanna throw
every
a chair.
single, if you only listen to 6ix9ine, then I would be like, okay, dude, you really need to just like,
Slow down.
I'm gonna have to delete your Spotify remotely.
I'm gonna have to. We're gonna
I'm
have
gonna
to have an
into the
intervention.
name friend.
All right.
You need to listen to Royce to 5'9" and have your brain just erode from the lyricism.
It's like scraping off rust.
Exactly.
God.
But yeah, so that song, all the stuff by Shinigami Boy, was hilarious. The line that killed me, and this was in connection to the ad libs.
You know
is
what?
when
I
he's
should
like,
watch the song for context.
Have you not listened to it?
mhm.
Yeah. I haven't.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
When he talked about getting the ice, he's like, I grabbed a handful of ice and I put it in my cup, and then the ad lib was like just this so aggressive,
Sounds like an
"Yeah, I'm
N64
pulling that-"
enemy.
So, what is it called?
Young Shinigami Boy. It's by Mori Calliope. It's
It'll probably pop up.
My
if you just
Reality
type
and
it as
Money.
it is,
Something like that.
instead of with the lead.
Yeah,
Stuff.
my
My
reality
Reality.
and my reality and
Yeah,
money.
okay.
My reality, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's or my reality. Yeah, money was the other one. But God, it's so funny.
Money killed me too, because like I didn't expect all the gang vocals. Feels like I'm shitting on my, whatever. Like all that's what yeah.
Like
That whole line, I guess the whole draw of that song was to be incoherent.
hmm
The
it
drool
made
is
it funny.
flowing like my bars, and I want that bite. No.
It's like every middle schooler trying to be cool.
Right?
Wouldn't be surprised if the kid was one of my fans, so I lower my glasses and stare as long as I can. He says, sir, can I take your order? I would have called him kind of cute if he was just a bit shorter. I roll my eyes, though, because I gotta keep it cool. And I say I'm trying to get a fucking chicken sandwich, fool.
So good.
And it's so funny because they own it. He owns just the exaggeration. He owns all of it. He He doesn't crack up at all. He's just, oh man.
Impressive.
If I were,
remember the one with Bay? It was the last one where her and Bay were arguing.
Oh yeah. I was like, what? I just.
And young Shinigami boy and Heiko. What?
Dude,
what was his name? Calvin. Yeah,
Calvin. Yeah, Calvin.
Fucking name.
Oh, it's so.
It's like the most bitch-made name you could have picked.
Right. You know, I will say, it's given me inspiration to actually try and write like a really simple like club banger, because I can find enough music that easily like I can easily find enough good beats to go with it. But it's just to sit there and be like, I have to do the equivalent of Gang Gang Kawaii. Like, I have to own the ridiculousness.
Face your demons.
You know, the funny thing is the only like the only song that would come to mind when I was thinking about, okay, how can I try and be, you know, still somewhat have my sanity of being lyrical and introspective, but also do, you know, like a club song, was Killa by Eminem, which was flat out just a dope club song. And he still was able to just like make it work, and it sounds so good. But I don't. It would require me saying a lot of things that I've never actually done. That's the only thing that I'm concerned about.
Rappers do it all the time. Rappers do it all the time.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be the first. But if you want some inspiration for that, I'd recommend listening to Contrast.
I recommend listening to me.
No. Don't listen to Contrast. With it's like Genghis Khan. But
is that like a song title?
No, it's the guy's name. Contrast. I put it in chat. But he just has so much swag. Like, god damn.
Well, you know, by comparison, I've listened to guys like Quadeka, who he does just as much ignorant rap as he does really like cool like introspective music, or he can actually rap really fast too when he wants to. And it seems so fun to just yell about nonsense you've never done in your life to a really cool beat. But at the same time, I feel like I'd be outing myself. Like okay, so do you know, have you heard of what's his name? Lil Tecca?
Lil Tecca? No.
He blew up a couple of years ago for just kind of having he kind of had like a chill way of flowing over a beat, and he was really young, so it was kind of a perfect storm of like, wow, he actually kind of carries himself well, and he's young, he hasn't, you know, done very much. That's cool. But the song that blew him up was all lies. Like he said all this braggadocious stuff of like, yeah, flew her out to, you know, Beijing, and then we honeymooned, and you know, whatever, and you know,
that's what it is.
If you talk to me, I'll get out the strap. And he was like, I don't even own a gun. Like, that was all just me saying stuff.
I mean,
he didn't ever act like it was true, but
I think that's
a lot of people thought it was.
Perfect example of how like the rap game is. Like 90% of the shit that we say isn't like, if it's braggadocious and it seems pretty out there, it's probably fake. And that's fine. And I think that's fine.
Well, and that's the thing is I try to not write that type of stuff because here's the thing, right? There's certain artists out there that, you know, maybe back in the Tupac era, if they wanted to talk about the streets and talk about their experience, people would be like, wow, they're bringing issues to the music. But then you get one or two artists like J. Cole or Hobson that they say one or two things out of place, and unfortunately people think, oh, well, you are entirely out of touch with everything in life, and you will be that way until you die. So I will pigeonhole you as worthless and cheesy and corny.
Yeah.
Which is completely unfair, and I hate that. I think that's awful.
Thinking like that's it's unfortunate, but that's a similar mindset, which is completely like degrading to all types of artists. Like
Oh, yeah.
regardless of their genre, regardless of their medium. Like,
Mhm.
do you genuinely fucking believe that like any artist ever just came into the world and their first creation was a masterpiece?
Well, and that's the thing of
And
it,
the
right?
first
Is like,
version of their first creation was a masterpiece. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Sure.
it's
I mean, sure,
ridiculous.
their first like released like hit or whatever could definitely be awesome and like worthy of that status. But that
Mhm.
was definitely not the first iteration, I promise.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It just I'm trying to think of
Plus, people
uh
change, yeah, get better all the
yeah.
time.
Well, and you know, there's also the part of it too where if someone just feels like, well, I don't want to have to think. I just want to listen to a song that's just, you know, easy to listen to. They could look at someone like even Kendrick Lamar, I'm sure, and go, ugh, I just don't like him. He's just corny or whatever. And they're using terms completely inappropriately, which it's
Mm-hmm.
like I can tell that either means you're young or you're just annoying and
Ignorant.
Oh my
I don't
god,
like you.
the people who do that with Eminem is like he's just saying so many words. It's like what? Are are you listening
Yes.
to the words?
Right.
Well,
Like
no.
you might as well just go listen to some instrumentals,
Well,
man.
no. Okay.
Some lo-fi,
But
some
in defense of those people, he says a lot of words, and
Well,
that's spooky. Him saying a lot of words is very spooky.
all his words are scary.
I am scared of Eminem because he says words. Aren't you?
did
I
you ever
mean,
see
yeah,
the
that's
video
pretty much it.
of a and she titled herself this. It said a mumble rap fan reacts to Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that video? I'll find it and post it because
No, I don't think I did. Post it in the Discord.
yeah. I'm looking for it right now. She actually has a very open mind about the whole thing, and she's not like, oh, I don't understand this, so therefore it's bad, which is stupid. Um, but too many people do that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she actually acknowledges that like, oh, there's so much more to this than I thought. It's just at the time I think I like just heard his aggression and I didn't care to actually learn what he was saying, which I think is kind of an unfortunate thing, but that does happen.
I
You
think
get a lot of people that they hear just a style that they don't like, and they're like, I don't know if I want
I think that happens a lot with
to.
Eminem because on the surface, like let's take the revival album Believe. Like
Mhm.
on the surface, it just sounds like he's saying bullshit. But
Right.
if you actually listen to what he's actually saying, it's like, damn, that makes a lot of sense, and it's because of this.
Right.
You could break it down like a fucking English teacher. Like
You know,
that
and
shit's in
speaking of
depth.
English teaching, they've actually done studies on which artists have used the most words and have the most diverse vocabulary, and Eminem has the most diverse vocabulary of
Out of
any.
everyone. Well,
I
the everyone that they did research on.
I don't know exactly what the criteria was from that, but out of those polled, um, he by far had the most diversity with like not just what he talked about, but also the words. Like he used so
I
many
am
different.
not at all surprised when you look at like
Mhm.
Slim Shady versus fucking Mockingbird. Like, yeah, you're gonna get such a wide variety of language.
Mhm.
But
Where
like,
should we
he's so
post it?
creative.
Bro,
Oh yeah.
Mockingbird makes me cry to
I
this day,
think one
bro.
I think one of the most interesting parts of Eminem is that he's so creative. He almost never does. He never copies himself. It's always
Mhm.
something completely new. Or if it's like the real Slim Shady, it's uh sort of creative and new reprise. It's
Yeah, and
yeah.
yeah. Well, and so the thing that is always frustrating to me is you get guys like Fantano and Sean C in particular, who I think are very smart and very helpful in their own ways with their own audience to talk about different things with music, and they're very analytical in their own way. It's just I
I'm
think
sorry.
they,
Are you throwing shade in
Yo,
a
is this shade
against? This is the rap community. Are you ready to get
against
distracted?
against who? Wait, what?
the melon.
The
No, I'm
melon?
sorry.
The
I forgot
melon?
about them. Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you remind me of
What
like
did you
their
say?
title or what did they do again?
Well, so both of those guys are huge in like reviewing music and talking about it.
Got it.
Fantano's the biggest guy on YouTube pretty much for that
Montana,
type of stuff.
yeah.
He doesn't just look at rap, but he looks at metal, folk, pop, all this other stuff. And he's very smart, and he
Cool.
really is able to like talk about, here's this type of stuff. It's just I feel like in his effort, because I've seen him do this when he's interviewed Luke Gone, who was famous for doing a death to mumble rap song, which nobody on the internet liked except people who already like him, because
Uh,
people, God forbid, would have any, problem with a genre of music that oftentimes glorifies very negative lifestyle choices. But no, 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 we're not going to talk about that. It's a vibe. You just don't understand vibe, you Eminem wannabes. That's what everyone was calling them, including Fantano, which was really sucky because it was like, I think you've kind of written off this whole genre of lyricism and, you know, saying something with some depth and
I
wait, did
gotta be
people not
honest.
like this
maybe some
song?
wit.
They had some
I
Oh,
banger
have
he did
people
not
on
like
this
it.
song.
I
What?
have never ever seen the appeal of mumble rap to this day. I don't. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
I don't understand it. I don't get why you would sit there and listen to something that's like literally just fucking vibing when you could listen to something with substance. It's like
Yeah.
eating potato chips willingly over eating like a fucking Gordon Ramsay
Like a
dish.
baked
Like,
potato.
what the fuck are you doing?
Well,
Yeah.
okay, hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
it's preference and
It's
all that
preference,
sort of
of
stuff.
course, but I just don't understand the
I
appeal,
think it's the
personally.
same. It's the same thing as like, why would you play? Like, let's compare it to video games. Why would you play, uh, like a why would you play Cookie Clicker over something like League of Legends? Like, I feel like it's
Good
just a
question.
different. To play devil's advocate,
Okay.
I feel like it's just a different energy to be had with it.
Hmm.
The
Okay.
problem is
Mhm.
some mumble rap is good and some of it is bad. And
Oh yeah.
people who like mumble rap don't differentiate the difference.
Right.
And it really
Right.
kind of sucks.
But I don't.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
well, so I mean, I forgot to mention this too, but uh, uh, the song the song called "It's Get It" by Lil
Skit.
Pump. I still listen to that song every so often because it has one of the best beats I've ever heard, and he just has enough attitude and just kind of charisma about him that it doesn't even matter if you're just talking about having ice on your on all your fingers and ladies with giant tits like walking around you all day. Like, I don't care about that. It's the style that you're
You're not
going
there for
about
the
this is
words.
so
You're
it's
there
so
for the
cool.
vibe. You're there to
Exactly.
say, I like your funny words, Magic Man. Like,
Well, so the thing that bothers me about this whole thing, because I try to have an open mind about it and be like, okay, I can understand why people like. I mean, like by comparison, I actually was talking to some people on Twitter about, um, just kind of giving some thoughts about how XXX Tentacion as well as Juice World, they're both dead.
mhm.
And it sucks because for a lot of people, those guys were huge legends. And I just sit back and think, I've actually never really enjoyed X's music. Do I think for a moment that he wasn't astronomical in his field and accomplished a lot? Absolutely. It's just Juice just had a totally different vibe, and I really, really liked his music
I'm
as
rocking
much as
that, yeah.
he really struggled with a lot and didn't really get help for it, which sucked.
Mhm.
But so I've had that open mind, but then I would listen to someone like Sean C, who from my understanding, he liked Eminem when he was younger, like
Okay.
as in on pills and completely unchained.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
odd. I mean, like, a few of the songs are great, but like,
I
I'm
mean, I
not.
think the later M is so much more accomplished and so
I
much more
agree,
soulful.
definitely.
I just didn't quite get it, but he kept
The,
complaining that.
the one thing that I hate. I'm sorry. I'm
Mhm.
sorry to.
No, go for it. Go for it.
I don't know if I have ever liked any of his like collab songs with like other popular artists, like pop artists, like Venom. Like
You didn't
I'm
like
not
Oh,
sure
Venom?
if
really?
I'm. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't. I don't. It's weird, but
Wait,
like
wait,
I think that's the only exception for his later music. I like the
wait.
majority.
Mhm.
Question.
Hmm.
You're talking. Wait. Venom wasn't a collab song. Which one are you talking
Fuck, it
about?
didn't.
Last One Standing?
Not Venom. Yeah, I think
With
so.
Skylar Grey, Polo G, Mozzie?
Mhm. One
Wait, you didn't
second.
like that song?
I'm
Damn.
double checking. It's the
Wait,
fuck. What
Polo
was it?
G was on
That's
that? I thought it was
yeah.
just M
No,
on
no, no.
Venom.
There's two Venom songs because there's one for each movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. What? Oh wait. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I heard that. I totally forgot about it for a second.
I thought the original Venom, like the original song, was decent. It
Yeah.
wasn't like the
Sure, it was good.
greatest thing he's ever released, but it was okay. I
Yeah.
really liked Last One Standing though.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No, I did too.
I mean,
So you get someone who looks at how M has especially how he's come up. He
Oh,
really
definitely.
had to.
He has risen from the fucking bottom.
Well, so I feel like if you see the culture shifting from what you grew up in, you should be able to talk about, like, hey, I'm still kind of frustrated that you get these kids who hardly say anything at all and pop pills and people actually think that they're better than me. Like, that's kind of something I can take issue with.
mhm.
But then you get guys like
I think it's
Sean C,
valid.
who I bet the man probably doesn't really have much that gets under his skin, which is great. But that was his huge issue with M. He's like, dude, just stop complaining about mumble rap. It's here to stay. And I'm like, why do you care? And why does that reflect negatively on M's character and his music?
Percentage.
It's the same thing that CDTV and Anthony Fantano did with reviewing M's latest albums, which were huge projects, and there were quirky songs and there were serious songs and there was incredible songs. They looked at some of his joke lyrics and thought, man, he's really just not as good as he used to be. And I'm like, okay, first of all, you're not going to let the man make a joke. That's weird. And then two, why are you comparing any of his songs to anything else? That seems like the worst strategy ever.
No, I think a lot of people who say, he's not as good as he used to be," really have the nostalgia goggles on when they say that. Because, like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't like new Eminem as much as I like old Eminem,
Okay.
but I won't
I-
say that he's bad now. I don't think
I
he's
mean,
bad. I
sure.
just don't like the new style.
I'm sort of the opposite opinion, which is I think really good for this. But yeah, I like some
Yeah,
of
'cause I'm
old
right in the middle.
Eminem, but I really love new Eminem. Like, there's plenty to love there.
There's a feel that I've attached to his older style that, it's the type of stuff that, it's like I know, it's like the difference between drinking a Monster versus drinking an iced latte. Like, I like both, but I know if I'm going to drink the Monster, it's going to give me so much energy. It's going to get up in my face. I might get a little jittery, but that's just how it is. And I like
if I drink a bang, I'm gonna want to throw a car. All right, like it's gonna happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's
Did
fine.
you see that
I mean, it's
video,
not like
by the way? I'm sorry. I was just
No, it's fine,
randomly
go.
reminded. Maury Calliope and Gura had a adorable, hilarious discussion, which was animated a couple times, which was just a great move. It just
Oh, wait,
made it even.
I'm gonna move
more
this
adorable.
this post you had to Degeneration Podcast.
Oh, okay. So they talked about bang flavors,
Oh my
and
god,
Maury is
yes, I
all
love
about
this
Bang.
convo.
But then Gura just didn't understand any of the flavors. But then they ended their conversation not knowing what this one flavor was. So I made a little video. It was like a short on my YouTube channel where I found that flavor and I tried it and then like kind
Oh
of
my
reviewed it.
god,
It was
wait, yeah, I
sick.
saw it when I was
It
scrolling through
actually wasn't
your
that bad.
stuff. Fucking
It was funny.
why you don't drink energy drinks or something like that?
Oh well, I did that shortly afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, because
And
at that
now
point,
now everything's coming together.
well, because at that
Everything's
point,
coming together.
well, Bang actually never really gave me any negative caffeine stuff. It was always Monster, and the
Really?
reason for that is because well, also it's because the Monster I would get would be the giant like 72-ounce cans of them.
Oh God,
You know, I didn't
Wait,
ever
did
get
you
like
not get the
small
big
ones.
cans of not get the big cans of
I
Bang?
think they're close. I think they're like 30 ounces. I mean, yeah.
Well, so
I
Bang
mean,
doesn't
they're
have cans as big as Monster does.
yeah.
So it
Okay.
was literally just because here this one has a bigger size. I want that.
Mhm.
But then I would wonder why I would have trouble sleeping, why I would be falling asleep at work.
Oh
I mean,
god.
just
I
all this.
wonder. Right.
I actually thought at one point I was developing sleep apnea,
Oh
but it
my
was
god.
because I would come home and drink a huge Monster and then lie there in bed like, why am I feeling like I'm passing out, but I'm not going to bed or like I'm not falling asleep?
Wow,
This is scary.
I drank 300 milligrams of caffeine. Why am I so alert?
Am I so
Well, it
late?
wasn't that though. Like you know when you feel like when you're almost falling asleep, but then you like sort of jerk awake.
Yeah, I know.
You know, like when you're kind of falling asleep, but then you jerk awake.
Yeah,
I was
it's
feeling that while I was awake, and I was like, this doesn't feel normal. So I Googled it, and the first thing that popped up was drinking caffeine right before you go to bed. I'm like, oh, that's what it is.
Jesus Christ.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I've
It
tried to
depends on the
strike
amount.
against any of that stuff. Well, I don't know how to tailor anything. I either go all in 200% or I don't participate.
Oh, okay. I used to work at Starbucks.
Oh yeah, he's a
Ooh.
barista.
For 2 years.
Ooh.
So I have a lot of coffee experience and I have a lot of coffee addiction experience. Which, yeah, it's still on and off. Where there'll just be weeks where I'm like, I didn't have my coffee today. I guess I'm gonna have to take a 3-hour nap. And like, yeah, genuinely. And like, there are some weeks where I'm just like, wow, I totally forgot I haven't drank coffee in 4 or 5 days. But it's yeah, it's so I guess it's unhealthy in that sort of way. But it's working at Starbucks has definitely given me the experience to know the exact milligrams of caffeine that's in everything, to know how much my tolerance is, a shit ton of things. I think that if you're going to drink or participate in a drug, or more specifically a substance that alters your perception of the world and or your body in some way, which is a drug. But I went the long way around instead of just calling everything drugs. Right. I think that you should do your own individual research into your tolerance and everything to make sure that you're always in a safe zone and to know exactly how much you can handle.
Well, and that's how I am with wine. Like I
Most people do that for alcohol, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had a short stint when I was in college where I roomed with some people who had a lot of alcohol available, and I remember just like it's not even like I was addicted to it, but I saw it as the newest way to get stuff off my mind.
Oh god.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I've had the same issue with sugar where it was like I know if I eat a whole pack of Sour Patch Kids, I'm going to feel better than I did, 10 minutes ago when I was in my head and anxious about the world.
Right, okay.
I would eat all of it and then I would feel sick, but at least in my headspace, I had a little bit of sugar, I had a little bit of like endorphin, and, it was whatever.
Bro, yeah. Yeah.
So I say that because with wine, like I can drink wine and I'm fine. Like I know exactly when it's like, okay, I'm feeling a little affected. Tonight I actually went out with some friends and I tried uh, a uh, a margarita that had jalapeno in it.
Huh.
What?
Which
Okay.
sounds like something Corone would make, you know?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
but
Okay. I'm
Hachima?
not sure. I'm not sure what that means. But
oh,
okay.
Hachima putting
okay.
spiders in her alcohol or something?
Yeah. Well, Corone is another VTuber, and she, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but
We've
she.
talked about Corona literally like 20 minutes ago. Maybe
Do
30.
you know
Did
she
we?
has
No, no, we didn't.
like
We didn't talk about
jalapenos
Corona.
in like her coffee stuff?
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
We talked
So-
about Corona. Yeah. Because
So
we
did you
talked about time.
No, crony.
Oh no,
Crony.
cronies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Kronichiwa.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm bad with names.
It's not
Crony.
kawaii. It's kawaii.
Kawaii.
Ah, right. Of course.
It's
My
so frustrating.
apologies.
Though.
Crony's
I get what you're talking.
Crony's the one I've said that is exactly like you.
No.
No, so Korone is she's a Japanese
Korone
VTuber.
is the dog.
She doesn't speak much English. But
Korone
yeah,
is,
she
Korone is the dog.
right.
I'm
So she has-
I'm telling Mandato. Because he
I'm
knows
disagreeing.
based on like
Oh, dog. Okay, got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Super happy
Um,
dog. Super popular. Got it.
Who did an amazing front handspring? Did you see that?
And who is
I
also
did
the
not.
best friend of the best VTuber, right? Of course.
Wait. Hold on. Okay. Tell me your answer again. Did you
I'm
see her
sorry.
do a front handspring?
I did not.
Did I?
I did not see her
What?
do a front hand flip.
Oh my. Okay, we're stopping everything.
Or
right
maybe
now. I'm gonna go.
Wait, did I? I don't think so.
I do want to mention we have 15 minutes. We're at the 17-minute mark.
The front flip?
Yeah. Did you not see that?
No, I didn't. Let's see.
Okay.
Wait.
It
How
was
long
during her
ago was
live
that?
performance.
Okay, let's see this.
During the Fez.
God, the live performances. We should talk about that real quick.
Sure.
Or actually, I don't know what we were talking about, but oh yeah, no, never mind. Go talk about your margarita. Actually, the jalapeno margarita, because you didn't finish that.
Oh, so it just had it had jalapeno in it.
Mhm.
It was strawberry and jalapeno, and it actually balanced the jalapeno really well. It wasn't too spicy. I thought it was going to be really spicy, but it was really good. I really liked it. Anyway, that's all I was going to say on that. And I felt like I never got around to saying my whole point about music tastes because I take too long. But I'll just say,
You're not Rip.
it's always a little frustrating when you can see someone's preferences kind of erode their viewpoint to anything outside of like what they like.
Mhm.
So I've always just been like, I always tread carefully when I watch someone like Fantano talk about a lyrical artist like that, because it's like, okay, I know that unfortunately you're not going into this open-minded. You have your biases and you're gonna think, oh well, this is like this, so I'm gonna think less of it. And it's like I always look at that and hope that I never act that way. I hope I can. I mean, I know there's been times I've made assumptions about stuff, and I'm like, I look back later and I'm like, oh, I did that wrong. I mean, I told
Well,
you.
I mean,
guys about-
okay. I think when it comes to art, making assumptions is generally a bad thing unless you're very well versed in a subject and it's not just a bias showing. But I think making assumptions in general is kind of necessary for our survival, so I don't really have that much of a negative disposition towards that.
Okay, I mean, I can understand what you're saying, like
Oh yeah, I don't
sense.
mean like survival literally, and like sort of
no.
like. Mhm.
No, I know what you mean by that. That it's
Okay.
we do make assumptions.
We have
every
to,
day.
yeah.
Yeah.
We literally have to live.
Right. Sorry, Noel, you were saying something that we were going to transition to.
Yo,
And
she
I
just
cut
did
you
a
off.
Fucking, it wasn't really a flip. It was more of like a handstand. Yeah, it was more of a handstand. I
Like a handspring.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then she just
kind of
keeps
like that.
dancing like that wasn't even a big deal.
Oh my god,
Like I just
that's awesome.
the
But I
the
don't know
dismount
what
was
else to
more
say.
impressive to me. Just
I don't.
well, we were talking about the festival, and you were like, "Oh,
Oh
we should
yeah,
talk about."
we should talk about that because I didn't. I haven't talked about that. Actually, wait,
Okay,
no. Yeah, we'll do that first. Yeah, we'll do that first.
okay.
What'd you think of the? I only saw like the recordings and stuff that were shown
Mhm.
around. I thought that was awesome, and the
Oh,
fact that they can use the holographic like projections to do that, like, cause I've seen
I
that
literally
before.
cried
I'm no
when yeah.
Wait, what'd you say?
Oh, I just I just was saying with their intro, the swirling lights and then ting, here they are, boom,
Yeah.
3D. I cried. I cried like immediately, and
Oh my
I'll tell
god.
you why later. But you were saying something about
Oh, okay.
it's not anything you hadn't seen before, or you'd seen that technology before.
I'm no stranger to this kind of technology because I'm a League of Legends player, and they have
Hmm.
stuff like this
Worlds,
at
yeah.
every single Worlds. Like the opening song is accompanied by holograms and people on stage and stuff. But those holograms look very like translucent sometimes because of like all the lights around. This was a fully lit stage and everything, and those holograms looked perfect. And it was
Yeah,
awesome.
You
yeah.
know,
I
the more that I like every now and again, I am reminded that I surround myself with the biggest fucking nerds.
mhm.
That's it. I don't
Oh,
actually have anything of substance to say. I just wanted to call you nerds.
I see. Fucking idiot. Got him. Anyway, go
God, you
ahead.
got me.
Go ahead.
I have been caught.
God,
Blah. Blah.
good
I'm dead. Blah blah.
hated.
God, but what were you saying about why you cried when that happened?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it just was the fact that we've for the most part just seen these characters, especially the Holomyth girls, the Holoian girls,
Mm-hmm.
2D. And we've all made assumptions with what their models are actually thinking or feeling or whatever. Like especially
Yes.
for some who didn't have the most smoothest of face tracking.
Mm-hmm.
I'd see so many clips where someone puts hyphen dying of laughter silently. And it's like, okay, you're kind of making an assumption there because we're not seeing what's going on. We just see the model bend back with its eyes closed. We don't know exactly what's going on, but okay, contextually, I get that. But so to also because, for they only exist online, essentially, um, to see just poof, they just emerge seems very fitting for how they, essentially exist in that
Mm-hmm.
space. But to just go, boom, 3D, here we are, we're right here. I'm gonna sing and dance for you. I'm gonna, and we know that was actually, I mean, at least from what I was understanding, they performed that live, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they had to be all strapped into all that stuff. So to know that there's just a little bit more of that personal, I'm actually performing for you, and there were people in those audiences seeing all that, and then
Oh
at the
yeah.
end they just whew, like, we're gone.
They just
I just
disappeared.
something about that. I don't even know. I actually don't even know how to describe it, but something about that just felt so beautiful. I was like, and
Like,
they all looked incredible.
it's just so
They looked
crazy.
amazing. Um, I uh, I think Enid's performance was it hit differently than the others did,
Oh
and I
yeah.
think it's just because her character is such
She did Violet,
is
right?
so yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my yeah.
Um, not really something that you're gonna be jumping around to necessarily. I think that was
Mm-hmm.
part of it. It's not like we relied on the pyrotechnics and all that other stuff. That is the one thing that the dancer in me was slightly disappointed with, not in the performers, but with what Maury said about her part of the choreography. She was told okay, you know, here's your choreography up to this point, and then just do your rapper thing. And I was like, okay, I
Do
That's
your
a
get that.
good
rapper thing.
choreography, bro. That's no,
You can.
hold on, hold on,
It's
hold
so
on.
obvious that they have no fucking clue.
I
Because
mean,
this is the first
that's
rapper
some.
outside of like, okay, what's her face? Who's Sheep? I'm blanking on her name, but like she does some rapping stuff, but not really. This was the first just full on rapper that they had, so they're like,
Well,
we don't know how to choreograph you.
Do your
well,
rapper shit. I
well,
believe
and
in you. Thumbs up.
yeah, and I mean, it's fine if they want to do that. It's just I could see a dip of energy because
Mm-hmm.
choreography is about always you're filling every moment with what you're doing. And the other thing though was I've seen so many MMD videos in my life. I recognized a lot of those same moves. So I was
Please,
just
no, wait.
I,
We'll get that. We'll get to that. We'll get that to that. That's what I was going to talk about. We'll get to that. Shh. This,
oh
I
okay.
have, I have very strong feelings about this. I'm sorry, but we also
Oh
have 8 minutes
okay.
left, so
Yep.
gotta make it quick. So, I will quote something that I told to Vivi when I first saw this. When I first saw all of the performances and stuff.
Hmm.
So we have Gura, an intense song about the internal struggle of whether she belongs in her job field or not. Ina, this is about I well I didn't actually break down the song, but I knew it was super important and deep. Kiara's is a
Hmm.
motivational bop. Sparks. It sparks, for fuck's sake.
Hmm. You can
Uh
twerk to it.
yeah. I was talking about
Just
like
so
all of their signature songs. Like the
Mhm.
songs that you associate with them. And then Mori's, I think I would associate with her with Red. It's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
her learning to trust the people around her. And then
Mhm.
Ame's is about pudding. Like, I
Yeah,
thought that was so hilarious when I saw it. Like,
I'm
oh
just
my god.
wondering why she's not gracing us with an original song. Like, I'm still upset about that.
Well,
Well,
okay.
I mean, pudding
Okay.
is pretty important, to be fair.
Okay. I'm gonna get so much hate if anyone hears me say this out loud. But have you heard her sing? Have you heard her
Yeah,
do
yeah.
karaoke? Not. I'm not
Uh,
talking about Myth or Tree. I'm talking about her karaoke.
no, no, no. I haven't heard full karaoke from her, but I did a while ago react to her singing "Kiss Me" by what is that band? Kiss me under the milky twilight. Sixpence None the Richer.
Oh, okay.
It's just like a folky song, and it sounded okay. I mean, not anything too crazy, but uh, yeah. In your impression, she's not the best singer. Is that what
When
I'm getting?
okay, I reacted to her singing when she first did her first karaoke.
Oh, nice.
And let's just say it is obvious she doesn't come from a singing background. It is obvious she was not brought onto Halloween because of her singing ability.
Ooh.
You know what?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Hold on. If they're letting anyone in, they should let me in because I'm really great at singing.
Well, that worries me then that maybe the reason why she doesn't have an original song, because the Hollow Council practically all have original songs pretty much at this
hmm
point. We're just missing
Most
Fauna and
most of the
um
Hollow EN comes from like music backgrounds
yeah, so I was
or voice
wondering if
acting
they're like
backgrounds.
yeah. Well, I'd certainly hope that they weren't like, okay, Ame, you're not getting an original song. And she's like, oh yeah, totally. I suck at singing. I would hate to think that would be the case, and I only say that because Crony was very insecure about her singing.
hmm
My heart went out to her when she was singing "Someone I Used to Know."
Oh my god,
She
her
was
singing's so good.
whispering most of it, and just and I was like, oh
I
sweetheart,
will
just
I,
sing.
Okay.
I will say, she's gotten so much better because I heard pudding,
Oh yeah.
pudding, and
Oh.
it
Okay.
is, it is massive. It's a massive improvement. Let's just say it is a world of improvement. Like you can
So,
tell she's gotten singing lessons and everything.
mhm.
Nice.
I had So if Roar, I don't know if I talked to you about this before. I do come from a singing background.
Yes, we
I have
talked a
always
lot
came from a yeah.
like choirs and
Mhm.
stuff.
So I was in last semester a performance, true, or like a jazz choir of sorts.
Oh, nice.
So there was a girl there, and she similarly was very shy about her voice,
Mm-hmm.
in that she never raised it past like like I think mezzo forte was her loudest.
Mhm.
Oh.
It was bad. Of course she had a microphone, so it wasn't that bad, but you could still hear it. Like a microphone
Yeah.
doesn't solve it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's so it took the entire semester
Mm-hmm.
and affirmation from everyone around her that she had a good and sweet voice to like actually sing out.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And
Nice.
which it's, I don't know, it feels odd, right? Because she's a theater kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think that yeah,
she's
I
scary.
think that that's probably one of the greatest experiences that I had. And in the same way, I think anyone can sing, and I don't think that anyone should be denied the right to have a chance to learn to sing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't saying that Amelia was like horrible and she shouldn't sing and like
Yeah,
that
I know.
she couldn't improve. I was just like saying that I was surprised by the
Yeah.
massive difference.
Yeah, I was saying that I'm reaffirming
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just reaffirming Roar's opinion
Yeah.
of like
Mhm.
yeah.
All right. So
Yeah, it's. I
oh yeah,
mean,
go
it's.
ahead. My bad.
Oh yeah, sorry, we don't have any time.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. I had something to add. But go ahead.
That's all I was going to say because it's something we talked about last time as well. I spent a long time not thinking I could sing, and then I realized like, oh, I've been in this for a little bit. I think I can sing, and I'm just glad that Crony was in the same position because
Oh yeah.
I thought her original song was really really pretty.
Oh
It
yeah.
was very nice.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Now we have 2 minutes for the first time
Okay.
in not podcast history, in Degeneration podcast history. We're going into overtime for the next topic because
Oh.
I have some choice fucking words about the next topic, and I have very strong opinions about it.
I'm gonna murder you for going into overtime.
I'm gonna
After this, I
murder
just
you
want
for trying to
no.
silence me.
Hold on. Noel, I just want you to know that you've incurred a debt. All debts must be repaid,
You can
Noel.
debt these fucking nuts. We're talking about Maury's new album.
Oh no.
Okay. Did you not like my reaction to it?
No, I didn't listen to your reaction. I'm sorry.
Oh well.
I didn't listen to anyone's reaction because
Actually, I think the
I-
reason that he didn't was because he hates you.
yeah, I hate you. Yeah, no. I didn't listen to the anyone reaction because
Sure.
I didn't know how to feel about the songs myself when I first reacted to them.
Oh.
Now that I've wrapped it around my head, I've wrapped all the songs because they were very different than all this other stuff she's released. They're very
Oh yeah.
they very much sound like anime openings. They're like that style of kind of rocky, punky kind of rap. And
Some of that's in there for sure. Yeah.
yeah. And like back and forth between the EDM and this. And then I landed on the fact that I really like it and that some of the choices were kind of weird. Like putting Q in the album was kind of odd, along with Graveyard Shift. I don't know why they were included in the album, seeing as they weren't exactly like related to the album in any way. But
yeah,
it felt like the album was kind of all over the place in some parts.
Okay.
But I did like all the songs. My favorite song is probably what's your favorite song actually? I'll first ask.
I thought it was kind of a toss up. I actually think I like Ouroboros the most.
Yeah, me too. I think
Something
Ouroboros
and
and Unalive are my favorite ones.
I think oh shoot, I don't have a track list here. But anyway, the I I just thought it was funny because what really stood out to me as like the highlights was the opposite of what all my comments were saying.
Really?
They were all like,
Damn.
well, because like, okay, I
It was a
get it. I
very
get.
it was a very conflicting album, I will say.
Let me open this real quick. Albums. I just forgot what it. Oh,
It was a very like
I don't-
what's the word? Like
like so.
contrasting? I don't know.
Well, I think it was kind of good in. Yeah, but I mean, would you have really wanted the exact same content for another album?
Oh no.
Like the same sort of electro swing type stuff? I mean, I feel like she really expanded a lot. It just
Fucking
was.
love electro swing.
I mean, I
Oh,
would
it's still
call
good. It's
more electro swing, but yeah.
well, I mean, she has some of that, you know, with the.
You know what I'm gonna say? Electro swing is
I
the
just
best,
disagree.
and if
I'd
she
say she has a
is,
lot of
then
EDM,
I think that
like EDM
yeah,
rock,
perfect.
or not EDM rock, EDM rap. Electro swing is more like
Mm.
the electro swing is more of like Roaring Twenties swing, like that.
Well, and
Alexa, stop.
like the jazz as well, right?
Kind of.
Okay. So swing is I can actually explain this in music terms. So swing is typically a so normally a beat is 1 2 3 4, right? However, depending on time signature. However, swing is written in a 1, a 2, a 3, or it's specific. The best way to describe it is it's a 1 and then a half or a what the fuck is it? It's 3 got 3 beats to a measure, and it's times the way that it's written is in quarter note and then an eighth
Quickly,
note.
we're on overtime.
Sorry, an eighth note and then a fucking dotted quarter note. Whatever. That's like generally the way that it's written. So
Okay.
it's supposed to be like a sort of musical dip in terms of like the amount of time that it takes.
Right.
And
So
yeah.
the thing that I'm hearing in a lot of her music is usually it has like it might have some electro, it might have some rock, but it does also kind of have like I'm thinking of I think it's a Grim Reaper's a live streamer where it's like you get the horns in there, you get like some jazz elements to it, which is at least
Yeah,
I mean I don't
jazz
listen to much
slash
jazz.
EDM, I'd say.
Okay,
I wouldn't
yeah.
say
Jazz isn't
electro swing.
jazz isn't exactly the same thing as swing. Jazz is more a closer to pop than it is to, or sorry, swing is closer to pop than it is to jazz.
Yeah, but anyways,
Okay.
so
It's just an
So
older
what
pop.
I wanted to
So
discuss.
you didn't like it.
What do you
Okay.
think of the MMD music video? Cause I fucking hate it. I hated this fucking music video.
There was a number of things. I mean, first of all, like I actually produced MMD videos a while ago. I actually even my earliest OCs,
But like,
I actually had someone design models for them.
mm-hmm.
But I never really did much with it because around that time my focus shifted, and I was also developing a lot of different characters and stuff. But I feel like, I mean, okay, obviously, if you're gonna do any dancing, you know, there's gonna be similarities in some of your dance moves and stuff. I honestly think, and maybe it was the resolution of the video, but even when I had it cranked up, it still felt like some of it was kind of
Because it
bleeding a
was
little bit.
MMD and the anti-aliasing was just like not keeping up with it.
I did not like the fight sequence.
Yeah,
I understood what they were going for,
fight
but I thought it
sequence.
was extremely poor.
I think the
Um,
backgrounds and like I think the actual like visuals, like the actual physical visuals were nice. Just everything else was fucking weird.
mhm.
And it
and
says that
and
she it says that she directed it herself,
mhm.
which I refuse to fucking believe.
Well, I mean, if she said that, I'd be inclined to at least kind of hear her out on that. But I'd have to hear it myself. Well, because here's the thing, like, okay, maybe you just, I mean, shoot, if I had to design a fight scene, it wouldn't look all cool and whatever, and there would be dead air and there would be weird camera angles and stuff. Like, I get that. I guess it just felt like, um,
Okay,
it
counter
felt like it
argument.
was trying to do a lot.
Counter
It
argument.
felt like it was trying to
Q.
do a lot. Well, Q's not MMD though. It's animated. Like it's 2D.
Yes, but
That's a
fight
whole different
choreography.
space.
I just fight
Oh yeah,
choreography in
yeah,
general.
totally.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and I hated
Well,
it
okay,
so
so
much that I went deeper just to hate it more.
hmm
And I looked into the person who made it, Nonoru, and they
okay.
make MMDs for some very high production people.
Hmm.
And this is what they could come up with. And a lot of
hmm
the ones that they make are only slightly better looking, I will say.
Ooh.
And like I recently have been listening to Play Dice, Hako Bales,
Okay.
comparing it,
It's freaking insane, by the way. That
comparing the two. It's
comparing MMD to Hako Bells.
why did they do MMD of all
Oh yeah,
things?
yeah.
It's like
They
the
could have totally.
lowest form of animation. It's like Ruby season 1 type shit. Like why?
Uh,
Why did they make this
Now my heart.
decision?
Uh,
God.
um. Yeah, actually, I see your point thoroughly with that Ruby's Volume 1 comparison.
Yeah.
God, that was so bad.
Oh my god, just th- there's so much stock in this fucking animation. The stock animations are so Jesus Christ.
The models of the stuff she was fighting seemed very strange. I felt like they could have probably fleshed those out a little more
They put a fucking
to make them
VR
look kind of
helmet on. They put a fucking VR helmet on her and then made her fight herself. And I get the point, but like, come on. They could have done at least a little tweaking of the model, made her like, I don't know, made it like a Legend of Zelda, like Shadow Link type thing. No. That,
Yeah, yeah. No. They could have, well, because it took me a little bit. I actually didn't even say anything when I reacted to that part of it because I think I'd been reacting for over an hour. So I was just like, I don't want to take too much more time to talk about this. I didn't understand what they were doing there, but I was like, I'm just not gonna
the
stop
dancing
and question it.
feels the dancing choreography just feels so weird too.
Well, I definitely think the choreography at least made use of all the space and what they were doing, but
Yes, yeah.
you could see the instant when that choreography was done and she was just jumping around kind of throwing her hands around, which I would actually have rather had that, to be honest.
Mhm.
If you want to try and do something that's unique in that regard, put her on a stage, have her rap, have her put on like a live performance if you want to do it in MMD, and you could
They
throw
could have
in
just recorded it. They could have just recorded it live with the actual model. They had it. You're
exactly,
right.
exactly,
Oh my god.
yeah. But I think, and you know, to be honest, and this kind of ties into what I was saying too with the well, yeah, because then she did that live performance
Yeah.
with her model that they could have literally just done it, put a few different camera angles in there, and it would have looked great. Um, yeah, and I don't know, like, there's a lot that I don't know about where her headspace might have been with that. Maybe she just wanted to try something new, and since I'm looking at the track list here. Scuffed Up Age, Lose Days,
Bangers, by the way.
even um, I thought Lose Days was just so good. Like that
Oh
one
yeah.
hit me like a ton of bricks. Um, but the maybe perhaps since she was doing all these different stylistic choices anyway, she was like, "Oh, let's throw in some
It's like
MMD
an
too. Let's just shoot
experimental
for the
album.
moon." Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So I
I I
didn't
mean,
just.
I've done that with my
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
anyway. No. I just that's all I was going to say. I just it kind of that fed into my initial worry with her signing and everything. And
Mm,
but I made a video all about that, where I'm only speaking from my knowledge of IRL rappers getting just reamed by
oh yeah.
record companies. So I was worried that, okay, maybe she's a little starstruck. That,
Hmm.
hey, I put out this album, I did this crazy MMD stuff, now I did a live concert, and now I'm getting signed by UMG. Yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
don't. Here's something I wanted to ask you real
Wait, she
quick
got
before
signed by
we're done.
UMG?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Well, here's the thing. Didn't she talk a lot about the issues of records?
Yeah, I think so. Like the industry. That was her whole
Yeah.
thing.
So well, some of the initial comments that I got criticizing my viewpoint and concern was, well, Maury said she wanted this for the longest time. I thought, really?
No.
Like she really wanted this?
No, she didn't.
That made
She
no
didn't
sense.
want this. But now that she has it, she's okay with it.
Well, it's weird because during her, I watched her stream where she did her whole announcement, and I mean, she smiled more than I'd seen her smile in a while. So, I just, it just seemed like she was so starstruck. She was just so happy. She had just finished a song, and all this other stuff, and she's like, "Okay, guys, it was really, I'm trying to catch my breath here, but I just want to let you guys know that I got signed. I'm signed with UMG. It's something I've wanted to do for the longest time." And I was just
I
like,
mean, for the
"Wait,
longest time, it's probably talking more about like the start of Mori Calliope from then and then till now, because she her experience as Mori Calliope kind of shifted a lot of the viewpoints that she had before. So I think that's more what
mm."
they're talking about.
Well, here's the interesting thing too, because I guess she did a follow-up stream, which of course I'm working all the time, so I can never watch anything. Um, where she talked about everyone's concerns, like people just, because she said, "Hey, getting signed, let's talk about it," and a
Hmm.
lot of people were like, From what I was told, because many lovely people gave me that information in the comments of my video, they said apparently what they're doing here is went over this with a fine-tooth comb and everything.
Hmm.
But
Of as cover does.
because she's virtual, first of all, there's literally no risk that Maury would actually be taking for doing this. And if anyone were to get hurt from a hit, it would actually be cover and UMG. And I don't know exactly what all their logistics were for that, but they
I
made it seem like since she's virtual, it was like God, how did
I
they put it?
mean, legally and
Basically said,
technically, they're not wrong. Legally and
because if
technically, they're not wrong.
yeah, because if it
In
doesn't work out, then that
practice, no.
mm, well, so I'm curious to hear your dissertation to the opposite.
Because
You're
everyone
saying in
knows who she
practice,
is.
no.
That's the
Hmm.
thing. Out of every single person in Hololive, everyone knows who Mori is.
Hmm.
And by that, I mean everyone knows who she actually is. Like, that's just common knowledge at this point, to be fair. And the fact that Mori taking a hit is obviously going to affect her in real life. In practice, yes. On the legal side,
Hmm.
she has no worries. Absolutely not. On the reality side, yes.
Well, yeah, I think if it doesn't work out, it'll just be devastating. But the only thing I was thinking was like getting locked into 360 deals or like all this other garbage that
Mhm.
comes from like touring and all this other stuff. That was the one thing that confused me, right? She was like, yeah, there's just going to be so many other opportunities that I can have now that I'm signed. And I was thinking,
You know what? Fair enough.
you have a ginormous following as an independent artist. You're not independently wealthy, but you are definitely, you're not in debt to any, corporate heads. So, that you're already a step above.
Cover.
But,
I'd say cover.
well, yeah, but didn't they not really provide much for Gen 1? I thought Maury talked about that they were like, yeah, we kind of had to claw our way to get anywhere because we were new. It was the first gen. I mean, like, she had, like, she didn't even have a desk for her computer for a while, right?
Yeah, but they did provide the computer. Let's be fair. She didn't have a desk, but to be fair, she didn't have room for a desk. Oh, did you not know?
I've seen it.
Have you not heard about her original conundrum? So when she joined Hololive, her apartment was so small that she had space for, I think, like 1 foot of walking room, her computers, and her bed, and that was it. Her recording her doing her first live streams was her sitting on the floor like a goblin, using her mouse on top of her computer tower.
Yeah,
like, while she was playing
heard
Doom.
about.
Yeah. Like, she didn't have any space in her apartment just because, like, if you know anything about her past, she was fucking dead broke. Like, she had nothing. But, yeah.
Well, that's news to me. I didn't know that was what, was keeping her in that position. I thought for whatever reason it was like, yeah, she got signed to cover, and they were like, figure it out.
I mean,
like the streaming schedule, figure it out.
I mean, maybe a little bit of that. I mean, definitely probably less than what the newer gens are getting, but I'd say no.
Well,
because they did produce, like, they gave her computer and her phone.
Well, see, now that actually was news to me.
Yeah.
See, like the what I thought was, unless you need UMG money to put up all your your equipment when you're going on tour, right? You want to hit those main stages and you got to have your holographic equipment. Okay, I get that. That's going to take a lot of time and money.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Aside from
Jesus Christ.
Like, aside from that, and maybe I thought I heard from someone that she really wanted to work with Billie Eilish. I mean, unless Billie Eilish needs blood in order to freaking work with you, I just feel like, perhaps as principle, and I say this as someone who has seen artists like Token work with plenty of mainstream artists without having a record label, I just don't understand, unless you need blood to service your tours, why you would need anyone else's money.
I mean, here's the thing.
And I just say this.
UMG is very global, but Cover is very, like, Cover and all of the people who are making music under Cover are very Eastern focused. Like, they have a lot of fans in the Eastern side, not as many on the West side. I think UMG is the bridging point that will help all that.
Well, I long story short, I certainly hope it does, because if it ends up screwing her over, I'm gonna hurt for her. Like,
yeah.
That I mean, if there ever was an artist to be vocal about the ills of the music industry and how we need to be ourselves and not succumb to what anyone wants you to do, it's freaking Maury.
Oh yeah.
I've never heard an artist be more vocal than her about that type of stuff. So if that just goes south for her, I'm gonna just
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be sick.
Yeah, I do want to wrap it up a bit. I do want to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So we're 20 minutes into overtime. So I will.
This is kind of crazy.
I will finish this off with saying, it was an addendum to what I was saying about the MMD thing. I didn't just take
Mhm.
my advice on that because that I don't have that much experience in MMD or like anything relating to that field. I asked
Mhm.
one of my good friends, Glassworks, who does a lot of Vocaloid stuff, like a lot
Mhm.
of Vocaloid stuff, and has some experience in MMD and stuff. And the whole entire Vocaloid field is MMD basically. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
even he
because that's
was
where you
like,
get your
"Yeah,
stuff.
this sucks. Yeah,
Oh,
this is
jeez,
terrible."
that is so crazy.
Yeah, man.
Is he
Well,
still
that's
doing
continu
that? I thought he was just Glass now.
Glass. Well, no, he's Glass on Discord, but he's Glassworks on
Oh no,
YouTube.
no, I thought for sure that he switched back to just Glass.
Is he? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, still Glassworks
Hmm.
on Twitter.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
Mhm.
so we'll wrap this up. Any last remarks from anyone?
I don't know what I was saying for the last 5 minutes. I am quite tired.
Oh yeah, me too.
I hope I didn't divulge any banking info or doxed
I have your
myself on
routing
accident.
number.
Oh, do you mean state
Oh,
secrets?
I have your
oh,
social.
Because
Yeah,
do I do
it's
have a
online.
few state secrets written down that you divulged, and I will need to call the FBI. So I'm
Anyway,
sorry.
this has been the
all right. Well,
Degeneration Podcast, the podcast for the degenerate generation. Signing off as we divulge all of the government secrets from Roar. See you guys.
okay.